Can you imagine a business that's making 1 million a month in revenue and is quite profitable, disappearing within 2 month period? And that's just one of the cases I saw recently. And the most disturbing fact that even the most successful companies can fail. So the purpose of this video is for your successful company to be more resilient by knowing why the successful businesses can fail and what to do about that. Let's talk about the first topic, which is specifically about first-time business owners, especially the business owners who succeeded fast, which is extremely good, but has a couple consequences. And the first consequences of first-time business owners succeeding fast is they start to feel invincible, which brings us to the point of them being overconfident and ignoring some important business aspects, such as having backups. So if you have a successful business right now, and this business only have one main acquisition channel, and then guess what? You need a backup. If your successful company is relying on one main supplier, guess what? Don't wait until something will happen with this supplier. Get a backup. So you really have to be disciplined and being in control as successful entrepreneur so that you will not become delusional, because overconfidence leads to ignoring risk management, which is extremely important for the long-term survival of your business. So now the second main reason why successful companies fail is because of cash flow. So how success of the business is measured? Through numbers, right? And on paper, on in Google Sheet, the company might have high profits, everything is tip-top. But then it turns out that the money flow is happening in a way that it's only seen on the bank accounts in 2 months, right, after we ship the product or provide a service, which creates a huge gap. So if your business has any delays in payouts, like you're working with a platform and they have a delay in payouts, so you have to be careful of not stacking the delays together, right, and accumulating the reserves that are big enough to cover the delays, and always keeping in mind the upcoming outflows from your bank accounts and upcoming inflows. So the outflows that will happen will never exceed the inflows. Again, super simple to overlook, especially when there is a rapid growth, the marketing is booming, we are putting more money on ads, but please keep in mind the cash that's on your bank accounts, and make sure that expenses, right, and outflows are not exceeding what's actually incoming, because you might have outstanding balances from the clients for a couple millions, but if they don't arrive on time, then usually it's a dead end, or it leads to a debt that's even worse. So the third thing of what's happening with successful companies and why they can fail drastically. It's because the business owners ignoring a fact that any market have its life cycle, and after the booming period comes aging. So what aging means in the market perspective? Well, you know that it means more competitors, which means they will lower the prices in the market, which will lead to lower margins for your company. Combine this all together, and now, after a couple years of booming, you will have to do 4, 5, sometimes 10 times more work as a business to achieve the same results because of the aging market. And of course, there are solutions for this, which I cover in details in the business coaching. I will mention a couple of those here, which are economy of scale, right? So that it will be easier for you to produce more results faster and cheaper on scale, so that even with growing competition, you will win. And then the second option on how to beat it is to have a bigger piece of the market, right? Do the acquisitions so that when competitor arises, you acquire them. So even the market is aging, you will remain the main player. It highly depends on a specific market and your situation. And the strategy of winning, that's what I do specifically with my coaching clients. So now let's talk about the next reason on why successful companies can fail. And this is about legal complications. I just had a case, a successful e-commerce company making close to 8 figures just got hit by a fine because they didn't realize they needed specific permits from the government to sell those products, and the fine was close to the annual revenue of this company. So imagine what happened. And by the way, in most cases, from the business owner perspective, the company is not violating anything. However, you have to accept that it's not a matter of if, but when a lawsuit will hit your company. So what to do in this case? So first of all, of course, you have to go through the most crucial risks in your specific niche and make sure you're covered there. The second important point for you is to also have the cash reserves to be able to get a lawyer when something hits you on the legal front. And there is something else, which is a proper company and your business structure, so that when something hits, it's not affecting the whole structure and you can still generate a revenue and also make it in a way that other part of the business and your personal wealth, of course, are not affected by those legal problems. And the fifth reason why exactly successful companies fail is because of personal reasons, especially if the business owner is still deeply involved in the operations of the company. What happens is a person loses interest, motivation in the business, and since a lot of things are still depending on that person, then the whole business goes down. Or if something just happens, some personal disaster, which brings us to the point that whenever you build a business after this initial growth, make sure that the business is not depending on you personally. So even you will decide tomorrow that you don't want to spend a lot of time in this business, you will still have the income from it. And of course, there's a huge risk when there is a partnership involved and one partner dies, or there is a conflict in the business, and it usually leads to huge consequences. So that's something I help with in the coaching when I coach partners, to make sure that the partnership is organized in a sustainable way that benefits the company and both partners and enables the long-term growth without having a risk of huge conflicts that will result in the bankruptcy. So if you're a business owner and this video was helpful, click like and subscribe to the channel. Stay profitable. Your coach Glenn.